Hello, this is Cynthia in the TLC, and this video is about how to record a Collaborate Ultra session. We'll look at some considerations regarding how to prepare the room properly, how to create a separate session for a recording, and then how to access recordings. All right, so let's click the navigation link that you've provided in your own course to access the Collaborate Ultra tool. And so by default, you have a course room. It's just called course room, and so which is very handy. And for most purposes, that's just fine. But one thing to consider is if you create a recording using this link to this course room, the name of the recording, which we can't change after the fact, is just going to be called course room. So that's not very descriptive. So if you want the name to indicate what the content is about, then you can create a new session so that the name of the recording will reflect the content. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at that. The first time you do that, you have this kind of conspicuous area here that says create session, but I'll show you what happens if you create more than one. So we're just going to call this course introduction. You can create a start and end date, and these dates just reflect when the link to that room is going to be available. If you do make recordings, it doesn't have any effect on that. It's just about when the link to that room is going to be available. So I'm just going to give myself a day, right? And so, all of these other settings, entry point, meaning if anyone else is going to join the room, they can join it 15 minutes before that 1:10 p.m. And then you could add a description if you wanted to. That's optional. And then check your session settings. One thing to realize is by default, students won't have the ability to download any recordings that you've made. If you want them to be able to download them to watch offline, you'll click this checkbox. Okay, that's not a default setting. All right, so then just click Save, and here's your new room. Okay, if you decided to, you were going to do a talk about the course introduction and then one about chapter 1 and whatever that chapter is about, from then on you'll use this plus sign here to create new sessions. All right, so that's creating a session to reflect the topic you'll be talking about. All right, so let's just join a room. So let's join this course introduction room, for example. As previous videos have shown, if you're the only one entering the room, this image shows by default. You'll want to, of course, turn on your microphone, and video is optional. If you're sharing documents, you can prepare that ahead of time before you start your recording. Although if you're sharing applications, that has to be done sort of on the fly as you're doing that. You can't just kind of store those in the background. But files, you can upload them, and then when you're ready to show them, just come in here. So you can see that I have a document already ready here, but I can't, kind of prepare an application and be able to toggle back and forth. That would have to be done on the fly. All right, so I'm in the recording. Of course, I would want to start my microphone, but I can't do that while I'm recording this. So be sure to start your microphone, test it, make sure it's working. If you're going to use your webcam, get that started. Then when you're all set, then you just click this menu icon in the top left, the 3 lines, and choose Start Recording. You'll see an alert pop out saying the session is being recorded, and you'll notice that you have an icon next to the session menu now with that red dot, meaning a recording is in session or in progress. So then you can provide all the information you wanted in this topic, and then when you're ready, when you're finished, just click this session menu again and choose Stop Recording. Okay, that icon will disappear and you'll see an alert that the recording has stopped. Okay, within one session, once you've joined the room, you can create many videos, okay? But each time you start the recording and stop the recording, that's going to be one video. All right, but just also be aware that when you're in one session, if I created another video now within this session, it will have the same name, so Course Introduction 2, for example, then Course Introduction 3. So it will have the same name of the room, but it will just be numbered in that way. All right, so once you're finished your recording, then you can just leave your session. Remember, you never want to just close the tab, always want to click the menu, and at the very bottom choose Leave Session. And then you can skip this rating if you want. And now you know that you're out of the session. So then you come back to Blackboard, and just be aware that depending on the length of your video, it could take some time to process. Okay, so now how do I access the recordings? Notice when you click on your tool and have access to the Ultra tool, the Collaborate Ultra tool, you land in the sessions area. But now we want to get access to the recordings area. So similar to the room, you have your menu in the top left, the same 3 lines, just click that. And then we're just going to choose the recordings area. Okay. So these are all the recordings I've created, using this room. Actually using this tool. You'll notice some of them are called Course Room, some of them have different titles, and that's because I had separate sessions with those names at one time. So, but we're not seeing Course Introduction yet because, of course, it takes some time to process. So give it, again, depending on the length of your video, a few hours to overnight if it's a long video. All right, and so what we're seeing here is the name of the session, and again, that reflects the name of the connections we saw from that session area. And then you can see that I had just one recording for polling, closed captioning had one, and so on. A couple of them are numbered 1 and 2 because within that same session, I made 2 recordings. Okay, and this one you can see has 3 recordings. And that's all that means. Next, it shows the duration of the video, when it was recorded, date and time. And so to view it now, it's an MP4 file. You're just going to click View Recording, and that will open in a new tab within this browser. All right, and again, that checkbox that I mentioned earlier, we're seeing this icon as a result of that. If we had not checked that option, we wouldn't even see this icon to download the video. All right, and then if you wanted to, at some point, you can delete the video entirely. So the last thing I want to say about this is notice the date of these videos, and notice this heading here that says Show Recent Recordings. So I believe Blackboard determines recent recordings is within the last week or 2. So if I had any recordings older than 2 weeks from February 2nd, then I would just click Show Recordings in a range, meaning a date range, and then I could choose an older date. Okay, maybe. I don't believe there actually are anything older than the 25th, which is about a week ago. So, but that's how you access older videos. Okay, so if they're not showing here and you know that there was a recording older than the dates that are shown here, just use this date range option. All right, the same goes with the sessions. If we click the menu again and go back to our sessions area, if I had created a session from 3 weeks ago and it's not showing here anymore, you'll use that same option. So it's worded a little bit differently. By default, it says show all upcoming sessions. So any session that's available now or in the future will be displayed there. But if some are older, you could either show all previous sessions or again, show the sessions within a particular date range. All right. All right, so that's how to create a session, how to record your session, as well as how to access your recordings. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact the TLC. Thank you.